Greetings and welcome to Mount Olympus. I am Hercules Invictus, and tonight I'm proud to bring you the Diana Montford Show. Greetings, Diana Montford.
Hello, Hercules Invictus.
Hello.
I'm Diana Montford, the world's first transgender television journalist, born male, became female, and we do a monthly podcast, third Saturday of the month, from 9 to 10 Eastern Standard Time. We are a triumvirate. We just use the name the Diana Montford Show because I've been on cable television for 34 years, and that has become a byword for all things trans. We are transgender women, and we are going to discuss whatever's going on in the transgender world. The other members of the triumvirate are, in alphabetical order, transgender and feminist activist Cathryn Platine.
Hi there.
And attorney and New York State politician Joann Princivalli.
Hello, everybody.
And we're good to go. Okay. Anybody have any ideas as to what you want to discuss tonight?
I don't hear crickets, but I do think that we have a little bit of some sun shining on us lately with the change in the presidential campaign.
We'll know more after the Democratic convention actually gets underway tomorrow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's 80 days between now and Election Day as of the time we're recording this.
Yep.
And let's hope that with the goddess's help, our personal goddess Kamala wins.
Yes, I would hope so too. Personally, the alternative is too horrible to contemplate.
You're not looking forward to 2025?
Oh,
well,
and I've already been saying.
Sorry.
Okay.
What'd you say?
Certainly not Project 2025. I'm not looking forward to that for sure.
No one is. Even the gazillionaires are nervous because if Trump gets in with his presidential immunity, he can just take their money for himself.
If he wants.
Well, right now,
that's how dictators work.
Biden can stop the whole thing because he has immunity.
Well, he could theoretically shoot Trump and Vance, and nobody could do anything to him.
Well, he probably won't do that. He said he wasn't going to exercise that right.
But he could.
Well, he said that. Yeah, but he can always blame it on senility. Well, as Trump pointed out, I'm too senile. I didn't know what I was doing.
As long as he uses an official gun or
yes,
a drone.
Needs to be an official act. Yes, with a Hellfire missile or something. Well, we're not looking forward to him doing that, so that's only a fantasy.
Okay. Well, if you say so.
Yeah, as it stands now, it's a fantasy. If Trump mobilizes his crazy fascist supporters, who knows? Well, and what is going to happen? If Trump, okay, let's say we win, our side wins, the Kamala side. They're going to try, the Trump folk, or the MAGA folk, are going to try to stage a coup. Yes. And what do we do if they attack us?
Well, the first thing that will happen is they have in place in several states election commissioners who will do a slow walk and not certify the election result. And what they're hoping to do with that is not have the electors able to be certified from enough states so that it would end up going to the House of Representatives, in which case, with the current House, the vote would be 26 to 24 because the Republicans control. It's a state-by-state delegation thing. So the Republicans control 26 state delegations right now, and if they were to do the voting, they would decide that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance would be the elected president and vice president. However, if it were to go like that, and it was intentional on the part of these election officials, I think that would be a time to mobilize and do something about it, because that if they were to try that vote, for starters, I think Democrats would walk out. They wouldn't participate because it would be a mockery of the election process. And the point is that if that were to happen, we should join them in Washington to make sure that this does not go forward. Because the Supreme Court, they're all ready to approve whatever it is that happens with all those handpicked Supreme Court justices. I would be very, very surprised if that were to happen, if we didn't have, like some immediate nominations to pack the court. And that might stop it. But that's like a circuit. The whole concept of this happening is a circuit.
Right, but the good news is that there is, in fact, a Democratic organization, a legal organization, that is foreseeing all this happening, and it is actually illegal in 49 of the 50 states to not certify an election.
Right.
But by these minor election officials. The only state that it's arguably legal in, it just happened in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia just changed their law to allow it to happen.
And Georgia is a swing state at this point. It's a possible swing state.
Which is why they're really, really doubling down on getting Georgia. To basically the heroes of the Republican Party that saved Georgia last time around are not heroes, and they're doing their darndest to make sure that they change the rule book so that they can get away with this stuff. Georgia actually has a website where you can challenge somebody else's right to vote.
Well, that's unconstitutional, isn't it?
Well, it would have been.
Well, I mean, okay, now, aren't Georgia people, the white people, sort of anti-black? And they could say, well, we don't want black people to vote?
Yeah. Right. It has to be done on an individual basis, but there is a website set up to do it.
And men could say, well, we're taking away the votes from women, and that's it.
Well, that's almost inevitable, given the 2025 project stated goals, but yes.
I've been saving my pennies in case I have to escape to another country if Trump wins, because, I guess I'd go to Canada and from there make my way to Ireland, which is very trans-friendly. Since my American grandmother, my father's mother, was born in Cork, Ireland. I never knew her. She died before I was born. But that presumably would save me, wouldn't it?
I don't know. I'm going to declare the Atrium to be an independent city-state and apply for membership with the UN, but, I don't think
Yes, but if these people throw out the rules, none of us can do anything.
But there is no rules. Right now, there are no rules. There is no law in America.
Essentially, yeah. Unfortunately, that could be. It could devolve into that. If the Supreme Court does this kind of thing, and the Congress does that kind of thing, and the states did that kind of thing before that to make it happen, then it would be totally lawless. There would be no rule of law anymore in America, and at that point, we would be in terrible danger.
I sense civil war in the offing. What do you two think?
I don't know about civil war, but I do know that there would be a lot of resistance.
I've been predicting the balkanization of America for a long time now, and I think that would be the thing that would actually make it happen. I believe what we would, we would be living in the states of New England and New York.
Well, you take the West Coast states, you take New England and New York, and possibly New Jersey, we would all then join together with Canada. I think we wouldn't mind would not mind. I think the Canadians might object because we outnumber them.
I don't think the Canadians would want us, to tell you the truth, hon.
Well,
However,
I think it would be nice
Well,
to be
couldn't
able
we,
to,
excuse me, couldn't we join the UK Commonwealth as a new nation?
yeah, we could have a king too. That would be fine in that case. Better that king than the tin pot tyrant's orange menace.
right. Oh.
How can people back this crazy man when he lies like a rug, says the most outlandish things, has admitted that he doesn't like to read. The only book he reads is Mein Kampf. I mean, how can people possibly, especially working class people, how can they be such MAGA supporters? This is crazy. It's like a turkey rooting for Thanksgiving.
They are handicapped by the fact that they live in that right-wing echo chamber that feeds their fears. So it feeds their fears, and because they're afraid, if you're talking about not terribly well-informed white people, they're afraid of anyone who's not Christian. They're afraid of anyone who is not white. They're afraid of powerful women. There's so many things that they are afraid of. And the news that they get tends to make them even more fearful. We are the boogeyman who comes out of their closet and scares them at night. That's what, really, that's what the way that we are.
Three of the worst.
Yeah.
Three of the worst boogie women here, right here on this show.
Yes. We're Sister Boogie Woman, all right, yeah. But
we ought to get T-shirts made. Sister Boogie Woman.
But look, I really don't think. I think after the January 6th coup attempt, that has inspired people on our side, the progressive side, that if these people try in some way to steal the election or declare themselves winners, we the people will stage our own coup. What do you think?
Well, I can tell you.
Yeah, go ahead.
First of all, I can tell you right now that it's not if, it's when. If Kamala wins, and there is every indication with the way the polling is going and the way the wind is blowing right now, that she will win legitimately the election, then there will be an attempt to decertify the election and by Trump, and it probably will be strong enough to, cause a lot of damage and a major constitutional crisis along the lines that Joann has already described. I mean, that's almost inevitable. Now, the question is, how is the left going to react to it?
Yeah,
that's the only thing that's up for grabs at this point.
Well, thanks to their outrageously liberal gun laws, we can buy guns too. Anyone can.
Not in New York, you can't. You can't even buy ammunition without a background check in New York.
Well, yeah, but most people have fairly clean backgrounds, so I mean, I'm smoking a cigarette, which is crazy, but I'm doing it. Yes, you were saying.
You might want to just move to like North Carolina, where it's a lot easier, and then come back up with your stuff in a lockbox.
Well, we're not advocating violent overthrow of any government.
No,
I'd like to make that clear to all and sundry.
Right. We're just talking about protecting ourselves if that came down to it.
Right.
Well, we, the trans community, would have a terrible time with these people. I mean, it would be true genocide. It would be Nazi time. And we would somehow have to protect ourselves.
The extermination of our community, the elimination of our community, right now, I play my guitar and sing at open mics here in Westchester County and in the Bronx. And what happens if I were to go to Tennessee? Now I get if I were in Nashville or in Memphis and I sang at an open mic, nothing would happen. But if I went to a place like Murfreesboro or somewhere in Easton, Tennessee, if I were to go to an open mic and just sing ordinary songs, I could be arrested as a sex criminal.
Yep.
Just for being me and playing my guitar and singing.
Yes.
As my guitar softly weeps, yes.
Because if you performed anything,
it even doesn't matter whether I'm singing that Gwen Levy song "Barefoot and Pregnant," which is one of the ones that I've been singing a lot lately because it's about the horrifying Supreme Court decision on that overturned Roe v. Wade. Women are in this too. Not just all women are, not just us.
But I think that will save us.
But we are threatened.
I think that will save us.
Yeah, I'm hoping. But there are still poorly informed women who will vote for Trump. There are still poorly informed. Heck, there are people in our community who are self-hating. Take, for example, I've seen pictures on the internet, and they're not fake. The other side's vice presidential candidate apparently has done drag. He's basically, he may be have done some gender expression, not just. And the point is, he had trans friends, and he abandoned them. He abandoned everything, just for this quest for more power. If in a Republican context, he might very well be self-hating and really, annoyed at the fact that there are other people out there who have self-respect, who are not feeling terribly guilty about being who we are, and he may be thinking that we should be punished.
I have run into that. Kelsey and I know a transgender activist who was a military man for most of her life. And she absolutely, although she purports to be my friend, and I've had her on my show, she absolutely hates me, no doubt because I've lived my life as a woman, and she came to it very late. She's well into her late 70s now. And she says every nasty thing to me you can say. I mean, and under the guise of friendship. And I mean, to the point where I had to drop her as a friend because really, I mean, I don't need this negativity. Well, there are a lot of people who do not like us, who are of us.
Yes, and especially the ones who only are themselves, or only showing their transness on a part-time basis, in hiding secretly, furtively, and they're so. In a way, it's jealousy.
Yes,
and their religious beliefs. They've been taught that it's sinful. They've been taught that that we are bad, we are evil, and they see it in themselves, and they say, "Oh no, we have to do something about that and eliminate. We have to purge the evil." And that
pray the gay away, yeah.
No, the whole purging thing has actually been a known psychological part of the cross-dressing phenomena.
Yeah.
That they will get in, spend a fortune on entire wardrobes, and then out of this weird sense of guilt, will purge it all, throw it all out, only to 6 months later go back and reacquire. That is a well-known phenomena psychologically.
Yes.
And these are the people that absolutely hate people like us.
And so we wonder about J.D. Vance.
Yeah.
The eyeliner queen of Ohio, yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, that eyeliner is something. That's a little bit of
Eat your heart out, Ronnie Spector. Yeah, he likes that eyeliner.
One wonders if he does. He might. One other thing he might do, and don't think anyone's looking for it, but clear nail polish.
Okay, and
That used to be a thing in the 30s. Men who purported to be refined gentlemen used to get manicures at their barber shops and wear clear nail polish to show that they didn't work with their hands, which most people did in those days. But
pedicures and manicures are no longer, considered unmasculine among the younger men.
Right, but
no, they'll even wear skirts, and that's fine.
You know, I mean, feel guilty about it.
I mean,
he purports to be a redneck when he went to Yale, I believe.
Yes,
most rednecks don't go to Yale, you know.
He grew up in Ohio, outside of those counties that are part of Appalachia, and he only spent summer. He spent his summer vacation in Appalachia, and in his book, he disses the people in that. Why they think that, oh, well, we've got a genuine hillbilly that is part of our, the name of his book is Hillbilly Elegy. They think of him as a genuine hillbilly when he's not. And he mocks the people of Appalachia as like people are shiftless and don't have any desire to advance themselves. In his book.
Dolly Parton being a prime example of laziness and a lack of ambition.
Well, and then he also says the only reason for postmenopausal women to exist is to help raise children.
Forget about women with cats.
That was the latest one, okay? Well, yeah.
Well, look, we let them talk, and they bury themselves.
Well, every time the man opens his mouth, he just solidifies the women's movement that much more, and that's what's going to turn the corner, for Kamala.
Yep. I concur.
An army of women that are basically, no, you're not going to turn us back to the 1950s.
And when you're in the entertainment field, you know about subliminal perception. And in Kamala's name, there is the word ma, which of course means mother. And in Obama's name, there was the word the ma. And that works on people's subconscious. They know that, subconsciously they will be voting for their mother because there's ma in Kamala's name. And that, believe it or not, I know how trivial and crazy this sounds, that might actually help the Kamala cause.
Huh? I think it's basically the fact that women are, that, two or three generations of women who had freedom lost it. And that was unthinkable. And it's never happened in our country before, and I've got to be careful not to swear here. It's never happened before that the civil rights have been taken away. And you cannot argue that the decision to overthrow Roe basically stripped women of some of the most fundamental rights that a human being has, which is the right to control their own body, which, by the way, is also a trans issue.
Exactly.
And it was almost unthinkable. And now the next thing that will happen, and mark my words, that if they have the power to do so, they will do it immediately. And if we don't do something about the Supremes, they'll do it regardless of who wins, is that gay marriage is on the block, hon. It's gone.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's wonderful, and here's why. Many gay male couples are rich, and money talks, and they will not stand for this, So you wonder if that's really going to wash because, in our patriarchal society, men, gay or straight, have more power and more physical wherewithal than women have. And as soon as the very rich gay guys who are married see this happening, that will make the worm turn, I think. What do you think?
Well, I think that the same-sex marriage is going to get overthrown regardless, and because it was not predicated on the one thing that would have made it solid, and that is freedom of religion, which is something I was arguing back in the 90s. That since there were mainstream Christian churches that recognized same-sex couples as legitimately married, that for the federal government not to recognize them was basically a de facto establishment of a state religion in favor of those Christian branches that opposed it.
That sounds like a good argument.
It was
No one brought that up.
Nobody listened to me. And back then it would have worked. We had a Supreme
Yes, but
Court it would have worked with.
don't forget Virginia versus Loving. In many states, circa 1966, miscegenation, as they called it, was illegal. Whereas, by 1967, it was challenged and the law was thrown out. So my point is this. They might leave it to the states, and then, you can be married in New York and illegal in Tennessee. Who knows?
Okay, well, I've got another one for you. Donald Trump apparently just mailed in his votes on the Florida mail-in ballot.
Yep.
Why was that legal? He has been convicted. He is a convicted felon, and under Florida law, he would have had to done his time, which he hasn't even been sentenced yet for.
That's the reason.
In addition, if he has these other civil cases against him, he hasn't paid any of the fines, and those all have to be paid before you can have your vote restored in the state of Florida. He should
not in DeSantis land.
The thing in Florida, though, is that they only start from the time of sentencing. He hasn't been sentenced yet, so he could still vote. That's why he's
postponed his sentencing until after the election.
Well, we don't know yet. That's still in the air.
That's still in the air, yes. I'm hoping. I think it's supposed to be this Wednesday, isn't it?
September.
Oh, okay.
Pushed into September.
Yeah.
So I believe September 18th is. There's hearings in
which will be after the election. No, it won't. I'm sorry, my mistake. My total mistake.
After I vote, because I'll have my absentee ballot by then for New York.
It's odd that Trump would vote that way because he was so very much opposed to mail-in ballots.
Yes, he's opposed to Democrats voting.
Honey, you're so muffled, Joann.
Sorry. He's objecting to Democrats voting by mail-in ballots. He doesn't mind if he can.
The true mark of a narcissist, yes.
Well, yeah, all these things only apply to Democrats. They don't apply to Republicans, dear. That's the essence of how it works.
All right, now let's say, I know a psychic, and Hercules knows him as well. I won't mention his name. He had a vision that Trump was assassinated a few days before the election. I'm not saying that I want that to happen, but this was a vision that a friend of mine who's a psychic had. If that happens, another psychic, a different psychic, told me that there will be no election this year. What would that mean for the country? We would stay in power then, wouldn't we?
They would still have an election. The election would go on. It might be a little bit difficult, but if the people could still vote for Trump and Vance.
Yeah, that's right, because we've had dead candidates win offices before.
And what would happen after that would be if they won, then they would figure it out.
And it would be Vance.
Yeah.
It would be Vance.
It's not a horror.
That's how it would wind up being settled. And
boy, they would end up
really
the vice president, and that would be kind of like what how Gerald Ford ended up becoming president after Spiro Agnew resigned.
Right.
And Nixon tapped him to be the vice president, and then Nixon had to resign. And so Gerald Ford ended up in a very unlikely president, never having been elected. to the office.
Never been elected at a national election for anything.
Right.
Yeah, that was
Now, okay, here's what I think is going to happen. Tell me what you think. Kamala will win. The Republicans will play fast and loose with the results and somehow disqualify her, either with the Supreme Court or the Congress or the Electoral College. Something will happen, although she will win the popular vote. We, the people, will not stand for this. There will
By the
be,
way-
at the very least, quite a skirmish. And when the dust settles, what do you think will happen?
Well, before we get there, Kamala could win by 5 to 7 million votes, but because of the way that the states are, the populations of the states are, she could still lose the Electoral College legitimately. We've had several in this century alone. We've had several elections where the candidate who won the popular vote
Hillary.
lost the election. Hillary.
I'm trying to remember the last
Al Gore.
John Kerry.
Okay, I can't. I'm
Yeah.
trying to remember the last Republican president that actually won the popular vote, because most of them didn't.
Reagan.
Huh?
I think it was
would
Reagan.
would have been Reagan. Was the last time a Republican won the popular vote and became president, because all the other Republican presidents since then have lost the popular vote, but won the Electoral College.
Well, now, doesn't that mean that this time, with the stakes being so high for so many, we will not accept the Electoral College vote,
No.
even if it...
No, because the Democrats play by the rules.
We play by the rules even if the other side doesn't.
That's right.
Well,
So-
Well, let's not. Let's not. Let's be as underhanded and dirty as they are.
well, that's
No,
not-
no.
If,
that's
if
bad.
we're going to
Then
be as
we-
dirty and
we-
underhanded as they are, then we could have Biden drop a bomb on these idiots right now,
Go
Well,
for it, JoJo.
because he got the go ahead from the Supreme Court to do that. And by the way,
Well, that's what I
have-
meant. He could shoot Trump and Pence and declare himself dictator.
Well, they had the Republican convention already, so think in terms of that. That as a missed opportunity under that scenario, which again is a fantasy scenario and not intended to be a real thing.
to be a real intention. It won't happen because Democrats play by the rules.
Yeah.
That's the point I'm trying to make here. Okay.
And we get accused. Democrats get accused of cheating by the people who do the cheating. When they were saying stop the steal, they were trying to steal.
Yeah, it's called in psychology we call that projection.
Projection, yes.
That is when you accuse your opposition of everything that you're actually doing, and as long as you yell it first, then the idiots that that don't really pay attention to the facts will buy it.
Yep.
Especially if you just keep repeating it over and over and over again.
Over and over, yes.
And that's exactly what's happened. Is with that's why you have all these Republicans who now believe that what happened in January 6th wasn't really all that bad. It was just a bunch of people visiting the Capitol. How can you say that was an insurrection? They were real friendly folk.
Oh yeah, real friendly folks. Yeah, I saw. Do not believe what your eyes saw on the television.
Yeah. Yeah. No, forget what you saw. You didn't see that. You didn't actually see that.
I'm a student of the French Revolution, and January 6th mirrored people from Paris invading Versailles in 1790. It's very much the same. They looted, they destroyed, they killed, and we have to get tough with these Republicans. We just have to be as vicious as they are. We cannot allow this. The whole world will suffer if Trump is president. He'll pull us out of NATO. He'll pull us out of the climate accord. He'll pull us out of everything. We cannot let this person win by any means necessary. We must stop this person. What do you think?
The world will basically feel that we have to be stopped. The world will feel it necessary to do something about the United States if Trump wins. And I suspect that the plans are already being made.
Except for Russia, China, North Korea, Iran. They are all looking forward to Trump to be.
No, Iran keeps trying to kill him.
We will join them as part of the axis of evil.
Yes, exactly.
And the rest of the world, the rest of the Western world, will feel necessary to do something about us, because that will.
Well, we'll be Nazi Germany then, you know.
Exactly. Exactly. And there'll be no problem getting a fifth column going in this country. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You can count on it.
Absolutely, I completely agree.
So
hello.
Listen,
yeah.
I'm 75 years old. And I'm not going to be around that much longer. I keep getting reminded by all the people that I was in activism are dropping like flies all the way around me. But and let's see, I have 2.5 years left on my batteries. If Trump gets elected, and I told the technician this, I said the easiest way to get rid of me is to simply not give me new batteries.
Yes. And they want to eliminate Social Security. They want to eliminate Medicare. They want to basically create a situation where that will be what happens.
Yeah, I won't get new batteries.
For your pacemaker, yes.
Right, and I will no longer be a drag on society where they actually have to pay me the Social Security that I paid into all my life. Okay?
Exactly.
And I will cease to be, an aging, ineffectual threat to the United States government, which happens to be my official United States threat assessment. Or at least it was under W. Bush.
Well, I told you, I was shocked, and I mean shocked, to find that I have an FBI file. I'm just an actress. What's going on? And I have an FBI file.
Okay, honey, I hate to break this to you, but from the early 90s on, the government kept track of everybody trans who was out. Everybody, because we were considered a threat.
Yeah,
how do you like that?
We were a potential threat. And what did I repeated this so many times, that transsexuals are 2 standard deviations above the norm in intelligence and creativity. And, people in the think tanks were well aware of this. And I used to joke about it in the 90s that if we had ever gotten our fecal matter together, we could have ruled the goddamn world.
Perhaps it would be a better place.
Yeah. But we never could get our stuff together. But we practically invented the internet. We've talked about that in previous shows.
Yeah.
It was transsexuals who basically invented most of the mechanical ways of the internet, and then most of the foundational software that established it. And the very first social use of DARPANet was transsexual women getting together with each other. That was the prior to the internet.
Yep.
So, where do you see our country? Where do you think we'll be in a year? Our country.
I think things will be a lot better, and that we'll actually have done something about the Supreme Court. We'll be moving forward in so many ways, but the only way we get there is if there's 80 days before the election. People have to get off their duffs and do something to try to make sure that this does not go the wrong way. And one way to do that I've been hearing people complaining about the use of the word weird. I tell that's our word. That's about us. We don't approve of that. I said it's only 80 more days. We can put up with it. It's been effective. Let's let them use it. A word can mean more than one thing. It can, Weird Al Yankovic is not dangerous. Weird J.D. Vance and Weird Donald Trump, they are dangerous.
Right, and it gets under their skin, and listen to who's complaining about it. The very people who've been insulting us with, calling us libtards and everything else all this time.
Exactly, and it's a nice generic term, weird. We don't necessarily, and yes, of course they're also disgusting and immoral and morally bankrupt. But weird is fine.
But weird works, okay, and it's totally getting under the right skin, okay. It's totally, and you're right. Point out Weird Al Yankovic as a good example of that's not necessarily an insult. Who doesn't like Weird Al?
Exactly. But the thing is, in the context of Trump and Vance, weird is a bad word. Weird Al, not bad. And anyone who adopts weird because of being different, just being different, like being trans or being gay or whatever, as weird as how one wants to identify, that's still perfectly good.
We had queer basically get reclaimed as a word,
Mm-hmm.
And back in the day, with all the hippies, we openly embraced being freaks. And we let our freak.
Oh, yeah, sure. When you said, you're so freaky, that was a compliment,
Wow, yeah, let your freak flag fly, okay?
Exactly.
So,
but words can mean whatever we want them to mean. Right now, we're using weird in a sense of being, low class and disgusting and horrific. And in that sense, it applies to Trump and Vance and to the Republicans who are trying to kill us. They are weird.
To my way of thinking, anyone who dates couches is weird.
Okay, I was going to bring.
Yeah.
Yes, he is a heterosectional.
Good one. And didn't Joann say that it's great that some people tell us what? Plastic covers.
What it is that the plastic slip covers on the couch, anywhere that Vance is going to be, you got to make sure you got plastic slip covers. You got to protect your furniture.
Well, yes.
And there are now rape kits at Ethan Allen. It's terrible.
But not only that, but there are pictures of him posted at Bob's Discount Furniture to not let him in the store.
Yes. A violator of sweet sectionals. What a fiend. How can he?
Exactly.
Oh, and they also won't let him into the drugstores for fear he'll shoplift eyeliner.
Well, and you want to talk about cross-dressing Republicans, then let's not forget Rudy Giuliani.
Yes.
Rudy Giuliani. No.
But yes, when he did the Maryland drive, which was not bad. He looked semi-okay.
Okay, there's a video circulating,
of him with Trump.
Of him with Donald Trump, kissing Donald Trump.
And
grabbing his breast.
And Donald shoving his own face into Rudy's bosom.
Yeah. That video is out there.
Oh, talk about weird.
It's only 20 years ago.
Yeah, but talk about weird, exactly. How do you out-weird this? Well, I guess...
This is like some weird film by Buñuel or something, Or Baby Jane meets Donald Trump. It's too sick.
But, but let's not forget that this has been a real thing. I remember back in the 90s, it seemed like every time there was some right-wing lunatic anti-gay Republican out there, a picture of him in drag would surface.
Mm-hmm.
It was became almost a regular thing.
Exactly.
Well, I think we're going to survive because we always have. And I mean, we, the trans community, We always have. Until fairly recently, we had a very underground existence, yet somehow we survived. And I think that the fact that those of us lucky enough to live in New York or New Jersey or California are safer than people who live perhaps in Tennessee and Oklahoma and other places.
Yeah.
So even if everything goes south when it comes to Trump and everything, and he wins, excuse me, I do believe that the states we live in will not prosecute us, even if the Supreme Court says they must. The law will be completely ignored, and we will all be happy scofflaws. What do you think?
Well, I'll be a scofflaw because, as far as I'm concerned, we're already at the point where there is no legitimacy behind the law. Because, stare decisis doesn't hold anymore on any decision anywhere, which means that basically undermines the law completely.
Yes. I honestly think if they were to go do this, they would have an arm of the government that operates just like ICE. And so the federal government will not rely on the states to round this up. They would do it on their own.
Yeah, exactly. But what do you think about my point there as a lawyer, Joann? Because stare decisis obviously doesn't hold anymore. The Supreme Court has basically tossed it out. So can there be any decision that means anything in law any longer?
At this, they have done such damage to the rule of law, the Supreme Court. They have done such damage to it in the past couple of years that in order for it to recover, we need serious court reform. And of course, if the other side wins, we're not going to get that. But if Democrats win, they really have to, basically add two new circuits.
Yes.
And then have one Supreme Court justice for every circuit. That would bring it up to 15. The two new circuits would be the Circuit Court of Northern Alaska and the Circuit Court for the Overseas Territories.
Okay.
And all
like Guam and everything, right?
Right, exactly. So the idea would be all Trump nominees who were made federal judges, wherever they are, they'd be relocated to the new circuit in the Northern District of Alaska, or to places like Guantanamo Bay.
Okay.
And other places where it's a lot easier to get malaria and stuff like that. So not necessarily Guam. I mean, if there's a nice one you want to send them to Guam. But other than Guam, there's a lot of places that they really won't want to relocate. And of course, their alternative would be to resign if they didn't want to go.
Okay, you're evil. I love it.
I do too. But realistically, it's going to take us a very long time to recover from the Trump presidency, the one we've already had, because he's done so much damage.
It's not going to happen unless the Democrats take the House and the Senate, and by substantial majorities. That is the only way we're going to do a course correction, at least as long as I'm still alive.
Or abolish the filibuster in the Senate. We get a small majority in both, with enough Democrats that are not blue dogs.
Oh, you mean
you blue dogs? Yeah. If you get enough that are not blue dogs, you can do it. You just say, we're doing the nuclear option on the filibuster. We're going to push this through because everything is broken and we need it fixed.
It's all broken. And
exactly.
Was that Kennedy Jr. basically can't be on the ballot in New York apparently.
He wants a meeting with Kamala about a possible cabinet position.
Yeah, well, he's already been turned down.
Yeah, he can be in charge of bears.
He's negotiated that with Trump and Kamala both, and they're joking about it. That he really ought to go talking to Jill Stein.
Yes, exactly.
This guy's totally wacko, JFK Jr. I mean,
Well, no,
the bear thing is too crazy.
Well, the bear thing was a bridge too far. That and the worm ate my brain.
Oh, please. And he got it in South Asia. Right. Yeah, let's annoy all the Indian folk. Yeah, that's real smart. Yeah.
Yeah, worm ate my
brain. They need to do a version of Winnie the Pooh where he plays Christopher Robin with his bear.
That is so sick. A bear in Central Park.
He was going to
because he was going to Peter Luger's that night, and so he let the bear rot in the park.
With the broken bicycle too.
Yeah, he had the broken bicycle on hand, and created an urban mystery that went for 10 years.
Yes, and for people listening who don't live in New York, Peter Luger's is a shudderingly expensive steakhouse in Brooklyn, and His Royal Highness Mr. Kennedy, man of the people, likes his expensive stuff.
Yeah, well,
of course.
There's another one who is abusive of women.
Yes, exactly.
Well, when haven't the Kennedys been? I mean, that's Marilyn Monroe. That's the ultimate in abuse.
I got a big kick out of the mansion.
Hold her down. Give her a second Olympus. She's a troublemaker. I mean, come on, please. That's abuse.
Within an hour of Joe Biden saying that he was withdrawing from the race, Joe Manchin announced that he was a Democrat and he was running again as president.
Oh, Joe Manchin is a fascist. He's ridiculous. And that bitch, Taylor Greene, I mean, what is her problem? She should relax.
Oh, well, Jewish space lasers, that says it all.
I love what that woman said, ugly butch body, bleached blonde, whatever it was.
Yeah, well, she shot herself in the foot with the Jewish space laser thing. Because I've got my official Jewish space lasers Mazel Tov pin.
Well, I feel one thing I feel bad about is that she had that tiff with Lauren Boebert. I had them all set up for a situation comedy loosely based on Laverne and Shirley.
That would have been hilarious. Okay.
On that note, we're running out of time. We have around 5 minutes to go, and I'd love it if folks can link up with you.
Schlemiel, Schlemazel, Hotspeffer Incorporated. Give us your info, ladies.
Okay, you can reach me by email at Cappy or Cathryn, Cathryn, at Gallae.com, GALLAE.com, or on Facebook as Cathryn Platine.
And for me, you can find me on Facebook as Joann Marie Princivalli with my middle name, and there's no E in Joann. Unfortunately, back in July, mid-July, my original Facebook account was hacked, and I haven't been able to recover it. And so I had to start a new one. And also, you can email me at Joann, Joann, M as in Marie, P as in Princivalli, at outlook.com.
And by the way, Joanna,
and me, I'm the Beaver. No, you can, which could mean anything, but doesn't. Get your minds out of the gutter, people. Anyway, you can contact me via Hercules. Should you wish to contact me, which no one ever does, so it's fine, whatever. But I think that's it for tonight, folks.
Thank you for a very interesting and engaging program. Lots of things to think about that you brought up, and I look forward to your next program.
So do we, right?
Yes, we do. Absolutely.
You have a wonderful
So see you next time, everyone.
Take care, everybody.